Okay, let's unpack this. It is Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026. And I want you to just, look at the landscape of modern music for a second.
It's pretty wild.
Trends these days, they burn so fast.
Right.
A whole genre can just explode on TikTok. Everyone does the dance. And then 6 months later, it's like it never even happened, just vaporware. But there is one very specific, very aggressive tempo that has not only survived the last 30 years, but is right now thriving at a breakneck speed of 170 beats per minute.
We are talking, of course, about drum and bass.
Of course.
And it really is a massive outlier when you look at the data. We're doing a deep dive today into the drum and bass jungle story, episode 5, The Future, which, basically catches us up to right now, the state of the scene in 2026.
And what's so fascinating is that this shouldn't be happening.
No, not at all. By all the normal rules of the music industry, a genre this fast, this technical, and this old, it should have faded into nostalgia acts by now.
Right. It should be dad rock. But it's not. It's absolutely huge. So the mission for this deep dive is pretty straightforward. We need to figure out how this happened.
Yeah.
How did a genre born in these gritty London basements in the 90s get to this massive commercial success in 2026 without completely selling its soul?
And maybe more importantly, we have to talk about the technology.
Oh, yeah.
Because between AI and spatial audio, the way we actually experience this sound is fundamentally changing. It's a case study in resilience.
It really is.
But before we even get into the tech, we have to look at the economics, because there is a really, really important distinction here between drum and bass and, say, what happened to big room EDM back in the 2010s?
Oh, the neon tank tops and the cake throwing. I remember that.
Exactly. That was a classic economic bubble. I mean, it inflated so rapidly because of massive corporate investment. It became incredibly commercialized. And then, like all bubbles, it popped. Investors pulled out. The scene just collapsed in on itself. But drum and bass, the trajectory in the 2020s has been defined by organic growth.
Hang on. Organic growth always sounds like corporate marketing speak for we didn't make any money. What does that actually look like in a club culture?
I mean, that's fair. But here it means it was slow and it was built from the ground up. It's the tortoise and the hare, basically.
Okay.
While EDM was sprinting for the Super Bowl halftime show, drum and bass was focusing on weekly club nights. It was relying on these consistent labels, pillars like Hospital Records, Ram Records, Metalheads.
So they weren't just chasing the next stadium hit.
No, they were nurturing a community.
So because they kept one foot in the mud in the small, sweaty clubs, they didn't topple over when they finally got tall.
That is the perfect analogy, seriously. Think of it like a tree. If the roots are shallow, a strong wind, or, a shift in trends, it just blows you over.
Right.
But this scene built deep, deep roots for decades. So when the branches finally grew out, and we are talking about massive commercial hits in the mid-20s, the tree didn't snap. It held.
Okay, let's talk about those branches then. The landscape of 2026, because reading through this, I was actually kind of surprised. You look at the top of the pyramid, the headliners, and it's comforting. Andy C is still the king.
Big executioner. Still.
But think about how weird that is. In pop music, if the biggest star was the same guy from 1998, people would say the genre is dead. So why is Andy C still selling out Wembley in 2026?
Because in drum and bass, technical skill is the currency. It's not just about image. Andy C is widely considered the greatest DJ in the genre's history because of his ability to mix 3, sometimes 4 tracks at once with just ungodly precision.
It's just pure respect then.
It creates a level of respect that doesn't just fade with age. But he's not alone. I mean, you have Chase and Status, Wilkinson, Subfocus. These guys are the bridge.
Yeah.
They command that mainstream respect. They get the radio play, but they still have the production chops to wow the underground.
And then you have the new generation nipping at their heels. The breakdown mentions artists like Dimension, Boo, Godard, Spectra Soul.
And that group is crucial. They're so important because they represent the diversity of the modern sound. They're keeping the production quality incredibly high, which we'll get to, but they've also figured out how to make this really intense music accessible to a kid who maybe just found it on a streaming algorithm.
It feels like the scene is kind of splintered, though. It's not just one drum and bass sound anymore. To really understand 2026, you have to understand the tribes.
Absolutely. The ecosystem has evolved into 3 distinct subcultures. I mean, they overlap for sure, but they serve very different psychological needs.
Let's walk through them. Tribe number 1, the big one, the commercial powerhouse, Jump Up.
The rowdy younger sibling.
Okay, so for someone who hasn't been to a rave in 2026, paint the picture. What does Jump Up sound like?
Okay, imagine a synthesizer that sounds like a foghorn. Or maybe a laser beam hitting a sheet of metal.
Okay, I can picture that.
It's distorted, it's wobbly, and it is loud. The drum patterns are simplified, very punchy, very driving. It's designed for one thing: maximum energy in a club environment.
It's the mosh pit music.
Precisely. Artists like Boo, Upgrade, Mackie Gee, Turno, they aren't trying to write a symphony. They are trying to make 5,000 people jump at the exact same moment.
But there's always this criticism, isn't there? I feel like every time I read about Jump Up, the purists are in the comments section screaming that it's dumbed down.
Oh, yeah.
That it's clown step.
Clown step, yeah. That's a tale as old as music itself, right?
Yeah.
Complexity versus impact. The critique is that it lacks subtlety. But here is the counter argument, and I think it's the right one.
Okay.
Jump Up is the gateway drug.
Right. Unpack that.
You don't start drinking coffee with a triple shot, single origin espresso without milk. You start with a Frappuccino. It's sugary. It's accessible.
I see where you're going.
Jump Up is the Frappuccino. It hooks the new generation, the Gen Z and Gen Alpha kids, because it's high energy and it's fun. Once they're in the door, once they fall in love with the tempo, then they start exploring the deeper stuff.
Which brings us to the second tribe. The deep stuff. Liquid D&B.
The Renaissance. This is the soulful side.
This is the music that actually has vocals you can sing along to, right?
Yes, but it's more than that. It incorporates jazz samples, funk, soul, R&B. It's harmonically rich. We're talking about artists like Caliber, who is, frankly, producing masterpieces.
Legend.
LSB, DLR, Halogenics, Alex Perez. It's beautiful stuff.
There was a really funny but honestly kind of touching observation in the notes about why Liquid is booming in 2026.
The aging raver phenomenon.
Yeah.
It's demographics. Think about the people who got into this in the 90s or the 2010s. They're in their 40s and 50s now. They have jobs, maybe kids.
Right.
They can't be in a warehouse at 4 a.m. every weekend.
Okay.
But that 170 BPM tempo, it's hardwired into their brains. They still need it.
So Liquid is the solution.
Exactly. It's drum and bass. You can cook dinner to. You can drive to work to. It scratches the itch without the aggression.
It's rave music for the morning after.
Or for the life after. It just proves you don't have to be angry to enjoy the speed.
So you've got the high-energy party animals in Jump Up, the sophisticated listeners in Liquid, and then you have tribe number 3. The ones in the dark corner of the room looking at frequency analyzers.
Neurofunk.
A technical frontier.
Yeah, and surgical is the word that keeps popping up.
Yes.
The neurofunk is where the sci-fi obsession lives. It's dark, it's heavy, and it is incredibly precise. Artists like Mefjus, Emperor, Face, Middle Norm, they are just obsessed with sound design.
Okay, explain sound design in this context. Because to the average ear, a bass noise is a bass noise. What are they doing that's so special?
Okay, good question. Let's take the Reese bass. This is a staple of the genre.
Right, that growling sound.
Exactly. A low growling synthesizer sound. In early jungle, it was just a sample. In neurofunk, they will take that sound, split it into 3 different frequency bands, distort the middle, compress the bottom, layer it with the sound of a tiger growling or a hydraulic press, and then resample the whole thing until it sounds like a transformer tearing apart.
So it's audio engineering as a sport.
It is. If Jump Up is about the party and Liquid is about the vibe, neurofunk is about awe. It's about standing in front of a speaker stack and just asking, how is a human being making that noise?
Wow. Okay, so we have these 3 tribes covering every possible mood.
Yeah.
But 2026 isn't just about the style. It's about the tools. And we have to talk about the elephant in the room.
The robot in the room.
AI.
The inevitable question. Can AI make drum and bass?
My gut says yes. I mean, it's electronic music, it's grids and numbers. Surely AI can do that.
You would think so. And yeah, producers are using AI for assists, I guess you'd call them.
Assists.
Generating drum patterns, organizing samples, maybe creating a synth patch. But the consensus in the scene is that AI hits a hard wall when it comes to the soul of the genre.
Is that just wishful thinking, though? Humans wanting to feel special?
I don't think so. It really comes down to swing and syncopation. See, AI is very good at being perfect. It can put every drum hit exactly on the grid. But drum and bass requires funk. It needs the drums to push and pull against the tempo. It needs to sound a little bit like the drummer is falling down the stairs but catching themselves at the last second.
Right, that rolling feeling.
Exactly. That rolling sensation usually comes from microtiming imperfections. A snare hitting 5 milliseconds late, a hi-hat rushing. AI struggles to replicate that intentional imperfection because it's not logical. It's a feeling.
So the robots can keep the beat, but they can't bring the vibe.
For now, yeah. The human is still the conductor. The AI is just the intern fetching the coffee.
The other tech piece that blew my mind was the spatial audio stuff. I've heard Dolby Atmos for movies, where the helicopter flies over your head.
Yeah.
But for a rave.
This is changing the physical reality of the club. I mean, in the past, stereo sound was just left and right. You stood in the middle.
Simple.
Now, with spatial audio rigs in clubs, producers can place sounds in 3D space.
Give me a visual. What does that feel like on the dance floor?
Okay, imagine that re-space we talked about, that tearing, growling sound. Instead of it just hitting you in the chest from the front, imagine it physically circling your head like a shark. Imagine the hi-hats raining down from the ceiling. Imagine a vocal whispering directly behind your left ear while the kick drum is shaking the floor beneath your feet.
That sounds intense.
It's devastatingly immersive. It stops being something you listen to and starts being an environment you inhabit.
It's like being inside the drum kit.
Exactly.
But here's the paradox. We are talking about AI assistants, 3D audio shark bass, and futuristic sound design. And yet, the backbone of this entire genre, the Holy Grail, is a 6-second drum solo from 1969.
The amen break.
It's baffling.
Well,
why are we still obsessed with a sample from a B-side funk track by the Winstons? Why haven't we invented a better beat in 60 years?
It really is the paradox of drum and bass. We have all this future tech, but the foundation is religion.
Religion? Why?
It's considered sacrilege to remove it. And the reason is simple. It's like the golden ratio of rhythm.
It just works.
Gregory Coleman, the drummer on that track, played something that arguably cannot be improved upon. The specific syncopation, the way the snare hits, the ghost notes, it just triggers something in the human brain. It creates forward momentum.
So you can chop it up, you can distort it.
You can process it through a supercomputer, but you need that DNA, that boom, boop, boop.
It's the heartbeat.
It is. It signals to the brain, we are moving.
Speaking of moving, let's talk tempo.
Yeah.
We keep saying 170 BPM, but are people breaking the rules? Is 170 the speed limit?
Not anymore. We're seeing a lot of fusion. Producers are taking the texture of drum and bass, the heavy bass, the sci-fi sounds, and applying it to other speeds.
Like what?
You've got drum step, which mixes with dubstep. You've got footwork influences, but the big one right now is halftime.
This is where the math gets fun.
Right. 170 BPM is fast, but if you cut the rhythm in half, you're at 85 BPM. That's a hip-hop tempo. So you have artists like Alex Perez, skeptical, D-bridge making music that feels like drum and bass. It has the same dark, heady atmosphere, but it swings like hip-hop.
It gives the music space to breathe.
It does. It retains the texture, but changes the groove. It proves that drum and bass is a sound, not just a speedometer setting.
So we've looked at the tribes, the tech, the history, but I want to land on the philosophy of this.
Yeah.
Because trends fade. We said that at the start. Why is drum and bass still here? Why are people still obsessed with it in 2026?
This is my favorite part of the analysis because it moves away from music theory and into biology. It's the physicality argument.
Biology.
Think about the number 170, 170 beats per minute. Well, when else does your heart beat that fast?
If I'm sprinting. Or if I'm terrified.
Oh.
Or, well, excited.
Exactly. High-intensity exercise, flight or fight, adrenaline. This music mimics the biological state of peak human performance and excitement. It's not relaxing. It's engaging your sympathetic nervous system.
And then you add the bass frequencies to that.
Which is a chest-vibrating experience. It's like a full-body massage. The argument is that drum and bass survives because it is an experiential lifestyle. You can't fully replicate it on your phone speakers.
You have to be there.
You have to be there. You have to feel the air pressure change in the room.
It's the antidote to the digital world.
That's the key.
That's a really profound thought. I mean, we spend our lives on screens, on Zoom calls, maybe in VR headsets. We're so disembodied.
And then you go to a drum and bass rave, you are sweating, your heart is racing at 170, the bass is shaking your ribcage, you are undeniably, inescapably in your physical body.
So the music survives because it forces us to feel human.
In a world that wants us to be digital ghosts, drum and bass is the anchor.
That is. Wow. Okay, so quick recap before we sign off. We've gone from the origins pirate radio and breaks through the jungle era, the tech step evolution, the global festival dominance, and we've landed here, the future.
Where it's all happening at once. The high-tech spatial audio, the stubborn tradition of the MN break, and that raw physical energy of the rave.
So here's the question the expert leaves us with, and I want you listening to really chew on this. As we move further into this digital age, as the metaverse gets better, as we stop leaving our houses, will drum and bass be the thing that keeps us connected to our biology? Or
is there a limit? Will we eventually need 200 BPM to feel anything? As we merge with technology, do we need to go faster just to feel alive?
Are we at the biological limit, or is 170 just the warm-up?
That's the scary question.
Whether you're a liquid listener on the train, a jump-up kid in the mosh pit, or a neurofunk scientist in the lab, the instruction is clear. Go feel it in your chest. Remind yourself you have a heartbeat. Thanks for diving deep with us.
Catch you next time.